Hi guys, it's Aoife from Words of Clover, and I am here to start what's going to hopefully be a weekly vlog. Now this is probably the third vlog that I have started in the past couple of months, and I'm hoping this is the one that I will finish because the others just tapered off, and yeah, I just decided that I wasn't in the mood to vlog and I completely abandoned them. So I'm hoping that this one will not get abandoned, but there's a lot of exciting things happening this week, which is why I want to kind of bring you along. So today is Wednesday, it is September 8th, and I'm actually, my last day at work now is today for over a week because I have a week and a little bit off work. I was originally going to go to Donegal with my dad for a few days, but that has been postponed for now because there's other exciting things happening, which is that on Saturday we are collecting a new puppy. So yeah, she'll be coming home with us on Saturday. Staying home to look after a puppy and let a puppy settle in is definitely like not the worst thing in the world, so I am very, very excited. She is a golden retriever puppy. I will put a picture up here of her. And yeah, you guys will be along with me on Saturday as we collect her and we bring her home. And luckily we don't have to, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours where we're going to bring her. We're going to Wexford to collect her and bring her home. And I've already gone and met her. I've met the breeder, I've met the mam, I like observed the puppies. It was all done through the kennel club, so she's all been checked, and her parents were all like health certified. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to bring her home. So this week is actually going to be getting the house ready. We actually are still downstairs, as you can see, which is actually really annoying because we were supposed to be upstairs by now in our bedroom because we're waiting just to get the floors done, and once the floors are done we can be upstairs. It was supposed to happen last week, and then they rang a couple of days beforehand and cancelled because they didn't have the stock or something like that. So we're hoping they're supposed to have it this week, and they're supposed to be doing it either tomorrow or Friday. What am I reading? I'm actually going through a couple of library books, and I've actually been able to match them up with the magical readathon that's happening at the moment, which is absolutely amazing. One of the most beautiful, well thought out readathons, like actually amazing. I cannot believe the work G put into this readathon. It is just unbelievable. So the first book I have finished last night, that is Shadow Captain by Alastair Reynolds. So this is a sci-fi kind of space pirates book. We are following two sisters called Fura and Adriana, and we follow them as they run away from home. They join up with this kind of crew of salvagers, and they kind of go down into these worlds that open up at specific times so they can go basically and get like treasure on these worlds, and we follow them as they end up kind of on the trail of someone very, very dangerous, and we basically see them become proper space pirates. And this is the second book in a trilogy, so you're just building up kind of their reputation, what's going on, like this type of trail of particular type of money and alien like artifacts that they're after. And yeah, it's kind of built up where I think the third book's going to be really, really good. So I did really, really enjoy this. This one wasn't as action packed, I think, as the first one. I think this was more of a builder upper to the third, but I still did really enjoy it, just to have like the proper crew that will be following in the third book. We have them really together in this book and kind of establishing themselves as a crew. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely will be picking up the third one as soon as I can. And then this one I'm going to be reading for the prompt of Read a Standalone, and this is The Lock-In by Phoebe Hurst. So this is just a adult contemporary book about a few housemates, and something happens in their house one morning where I think their kitchen starts to flood, and for some reason they all get locked in the bathroom with one of the girls' one night stand, and it turns out that one of the others knows this guy from somewhere as well, and there's this kind of like secret going on with them or something like that. So I think it's just supposed to be funny and just a really good time, and Leanne over at Leanne Rose has really like raved about this book as well, and I'm really looking forward to it. I trust her judgment as well, so I'm looking forward to diving into this one at some point today. I should say as well, we do have a Desi down here. That's his tail. Where's his head? It's here. Desi. Say hi. Are you gonna say hi? Hi, Desi. Hi, Desi. Gonna get a sister? Are we gonna bring home your sister? Yeah. So I'll update with you guys tomorrow. I've lots to do tomorrow. I've heard hairdressers, getting my eyebrows done. I need to go to IKEA, I think. So there's lots of things to do before Saturday, before she arrives. So I'll hopefully check in a little bit before then. So yeah, this vlog is probably just going to be very puppy filled, and I think that's going to be okay. I've just been sitting here talking to this camera for about 5 minutes, and I just realised I never pressed record. So as I was saying, it's Thursday afternoon. I've just been to the hairdresser. As you can see, I got a good bit chopped off my hair. It feels great. I love it. Just nice and freshen up and getting rid of all that, like the dead, literally like the dead ends on it. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I did, and I'm just waiting in the car now because I'm going to get my eyebrows done as well. Kind of had the day where I just get everything done, and it's just super handy then. So it's raining outside, as you can see. That's why I'm already starting to curl here a little bit, which is great. But I wanted to check in because I also got some bits and pieces for the puppy. As you can see, I got a crate that we can put in the bedroom for her for nighttime. And I got loads of other bits and pieces for her. I got her collar and lead. And then I also got her bed and a couple of like little toys and stuff, and her dog food, and that matches the same dog food that she's been getting from the breeder. So yeah, productive enough morning, afternoon so far. And I wanted to check in because I've been obviously reading the lock-in while I was at the hairdressers. I love that like quality like reading time when you're at the hairdressers. I always really enjoy it. So I'm about halfway through and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's like super engaging. I think the pace is really well. I think it's so like the characters in the book are like 28 years old, so a lot of the stuff that they've gone through, like you know, just college and rent and all that kind of stuff, like that stuff that I've kind of gone through myself as well. And then like being at a stage in your life in terms of like online dating and stuff as well, like definitely like that stuff, like a lot of millennials. Like I feel like this is a book that like you know, I know they say like, you know, Sally Rooney and Nisha Dolan and stuff, like they write very like millennial fiction for like young women, but I think this one is also very millennial fiction for a young woman, but in a more contemporary like setting where it's a little bit more fun and not to be taken as like literary or serious, but it's still very much fun to read. And it's so, there's so much things in it that are just so relatable around that and around the experience of growing up like from the 90s through the 90s, like the early 2000s. I'm at a stage now where one of the characters is talking about something that happened to her when she was a teenager, and she's talking about MSN Messenger and how when she was like 16, 17, the whole thing was that when you had a crush, you talked to them on MSN Messenger for like hours, and that's how you used to talk to like all the boys in your school and stuff. Like you'd connect on MSN Messenger and that's how you'd talk and flirt and stuff. And oh my god, I'm getting so many bad flashbacks from my MSN Messenger days, because yeah, that was definitely how we used to talk, like from like 15 to about 18, I think. Like MSN Messenger was how everyone talked, because Facebook didn't really come into like my life until I was like 18, 19. It was only kind of when I started college that like Facebook was taking off, that people were using it. So before then it was like Bebo and then MSN Messenger. So I'm getting like so many embarrassing like vivid flashbacks reading this book about like MSN Messenger and the shit, like my username in MSN Messenger. I'm thinking about all the usernames I used to use on these things, like so bad, like, you know, like short but sexy, but like sexy written like SXY, you know what I mean, like shit like that, like, or like Barbie girl, kiss kiss kiss, like oh my god, like the bad usernames. Oh, so funny. So for that sense alone, like the nostalgia this book is giving me right now is just very fun. So yeah, so that is my check-in. I might check in with you guys later or tomorrow, but definitely enjoying this so far. I'm really glad I picked this up because I was between this one and Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney, but I'm definitely glad I picked this one up because it's just a lot of fun so far and I'm really enjoying it. Hi guys, so it is currently Friday evening, and as you can see, I'm in a bed in the bedroom, and which means we got the floor done and we were able to get the bed up, we have our curtains up, and we actually have a bedroom, which is just the most amazing feeling. So yeah, absolutely delighted. Ignore this thing behind me. So basically the old owners of this house used to have a shower there in their bedroom, like literally just a shower in the bedroom, and obviously we don't want that there. So we have taken that out. We've ripped out all the shower bits and the door and stuff, and yeah, there's just stuff stored there at the moment, like boxes and stuff that we had in this room that we needed to move for the floor guy. So yeah, that'll be cleared out eventually, and we're going to turn that space into kind of like a wardrobe. We're kind of just kind of going to make our own wardrobe out of it somehow. So that's what's going to happen there, so we can ignore that for now. But I wanted to check in because obviously, yay, we got the floor in, as I was talking about, so really happy about that. Puppy day tomorrow, super excited. I have her crate and stuff set up. I don't know if you'll be able to see. So I have her crate set up there. I'm hoping she'll be okay now tomorrow evening in that. But she's loads of toys and teddies and stuff. And yeah, so she'll probably be a bit unsettled, which will be completely normal, but I'm hoping she'll be okay and she won't be too bad. But I wanted to check in as I finished the lock-in, which I was reading the last time I talked to you. I've already given that back to the library as I went to the library today. I didn't think, like, I was kind of afraid of, you know, like a story of 4 people stuck in an attic for like 370 pages. Like, was I going to get bored of that? And I didn't. And I think it was just written in a really great way that kind of kept me engaged and kept me interested and kept me laughing and stuff like that. So yeah, I am actually halfway through The Duke Is Mine at the moment, which is a Princess and the Pea retelling of and it is Regency romance, and I'm quite enjoying this at the moment as well. And there's a couple of things in it that I'll probably talk about in my review that are a little bit like iffy, to do with one character, kind of a side character, and how he's described that makes me uncomfortable with the way he's talked about. I want to see how it kind of continues on in the book, what eventually happens with this character, before I make any more judgments. But yeah, definitely the way he's talked about at the start is a little bit uncomfortable. But I am enjoying this for the most part. The character is plus sized in this as well, the main character, though we never forget that fact. We're never allowed to forget that fact, which is a little bit annoying too. But it's a Regency romance. I always enjoy these, even when they're like a little bit boring, they're still good. But this one isn't boring, it is fun, and the two like love interests have really good chemistry together. I really love their scenes together so far, and yeah, really enjoying this. Looking forward to like more Princess and the Pea references, I guess, and seeing what they make of that, so that should be fun. Hi guys, it is Sunday afternoon, so I just wanted to do a quick update, which to be honest is really just to say that I haven't done a lot of reading. Obviously we picked up Rossi yesterday, and yeah, it was a very busy day. We were quite tired yesterday by the time we all got to sleep, but her first night was really good. She got into the crate eventually, and by the time I put her into the crate she was kind of already like a good bit of sleep. And I think she was so tired she didn't care when I closed the door then, and she actually slept then all night. So I'm hoping we can repeat that tonight as well, because that would be great. And yeah, she's just on and off now, playing, sleeping, so she's doing really well, and she's just so cute. So I can't remember if I had said that we were going to call her Rossi, but obviously her name is Rossi. It actually comes directly from the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, which is a book series that both me and Cian really love, and it's actually a book series that he recommended to me when we first started to date, and I read it because he recommended it to me, and then I fell in love with the book series. So it kind of has a really nice special meaning to our relationship as well. So we're calling her Rossi after the spaceship, the Rocinante, that is in that series. So she has a nice like bookish kind of nerdy name, and yeah, I think it really suits her. She's super cute, she's super cheeky, super mischievous, a little bit independent as well it seems, which I think is good. Like, she doesn't need to be on top of you all the time, and she's happy enough to go explore out in the garden on her own and stuff, though I'm not really leaving her on her own, because obviously she's a puppy, which means that she's going to pick up everything she sees and every little bit of stick and leaf she can, she's going to pick up. And yeah, so there's a lot of what's in your mouth and stop eating that. So yeah, she's just asleep right now, so I will show you. It's very exhausting being a puppy and being that cute. So yeah, as I said, I didn't get any reading done yesterday basically, but I think I'm actually just reading or watching an episode of Selling Sunset right now. There is 4 minutes left in it, so I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to actually try and read another couple of chapters of The Duke Is Mine, because I'm really enjoying it, and I'll probably have more to say once I actually read it a little bit more, because as I said, this is basically an update to say I've done no reading. I've just been watching the puppy. So it is Sunday night now, and I have finished The Duke Is Mine by Eloisa James. And this ended up actually being more enjoyable than I originally thought about it. Basically, this is Princess and the Pea retelling, and we are following a character called Olivia and a character called Quinn. Olivia is a twin, and she and her twin sister are staying with Quinn and his family because his mother is trying to find a bride for him. And Olivia's twin, Georgiana, is basically one of these girls who they think is going to win his mother's approval to potentially become his wife. And Olivia has been betrothed to like a family friend's son since the time the two of them, like basically before they were born, because their dads were best friends. So she's been betrothed to this guy basically her entire life. He actually had like an accident at birth, which means that he, you know, doesn't think the same as everybody else. He's a bit more gentler. He sees things a lot more straight and narrow. But, you know, he gets teased for it. People think that, like, you know, he's not clever, even though it's just more that he looks at the world a different way. And, you know, Olivia just kind of has to accept that this is her future. She doesn't love Rupert, but, you know, she thinks of him as a friend, but she knows it's kind of her role to protect him as well from the world. So that's what she is thinking she's going to have to do for the rest of her life. So when she goes with her sister to Quinn's house, she doesn't expect to end up falling in love with him, and he certainly does not expect to fall in love with her when he's supposed to be wooing her sister. So that is kind of the story. Now, I was a little bit concerned when we first met Olivia and learned about Rupert, because we do learn that he was deprived of oxygen at birth, and that is why he is the way he is, and why he is just a little bit different from other people. And obviously at this time, you know, people wouldn't understand maybe the type of mental disability that he has, and I was a little bit concerned about how that was going to play out and how he would be treated for the rest of the book. And I do think that people, certainly a lot of people, you know, might have problems, particularly with the start and how he is talked about at the start. But then later on in the book, you know, you really see Olivia's, you know, her genuine care and her love for Rupert, even if it's not like, you know, romantic love. She certainly loves him as a friend, and she wants to protect him, and she wants to be there, and she's very, very loyal to him despite the fact that she's falling in love with someone else. And I do really, really appreciate that in the book. And the way Quinn then comes to think about Rupert and thinks about him as this like real hero and someone who, you know, is doing the best for his country, and, you know, a gentle, poetic kind of soul. And you know, that ended up being really, really nice in the end. So in the end, I was actually happy enough with how that like all came about. So I'm very happy. And there were definitely some moments in this that were a little bit more emotional than I thought they were going to be, and definitely got a lump in my throat at a couple of times in this book. And I was not expecting that either. When I went into this, I wasn't expecting it to be kind of more of a hard-hitting read at times. Eloisa James's female characters are always so strong in personality, so witty, so funny, very much, you know, like not like other girls in a way, a little bit more rambunctious, very quick talkers, I guess, very good at words, and yeah, very good at like teasing and you know, having answers and stuff like that, quick answers back. And I always enjoy that in her books as well, so I definitely enjoyed this with this book as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I was originally going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I think I enjoyed it enough to give it a 4 out of 5 stars, so I think that's what I'm going to do. The next book in this series is called The Ugly Duchess, and obviously it's a play on The Ugly Duckling, so I'm really looking forward to eventually getting around to that. Decide now what next book I'm going to read. I should probably pick up one for the magical readathon, as I think I've only read one book, or I read 2 books, sorry, I've read 2 books for that, so I have to figure out what my next read should be for that. Hi guys, it is Monday afternoon, as you can see, and I wanted to check in to say what I started reading after I finished The Duke Is Mine. So, little miss has my bookmark. Hopefully I'll get it back at some point. But yeah, she's just after waking up and having her afternoon feed, so she is full of beans now. To check in to say I started reading The Clan of the Cave Bear by M.Auel, and this one actually I think fills 2 prompts in the magical readathon. One of them is to read a book that is set mostly outside. This is all, you know, kind of like caveman, Neanderthal type times, so you know, it is set outside. So at the moment this follows a girl called Ayla who has lost her family in this kind of weird like rock slide thing, and then she's taken she's adopted by another clan, and we follow her as she grows up, but she's very, very different from everyone else that she like knows, and I think we basically just follow her life. This was actually on my 5-star predictions list and my TBR, my last TBR jar picks that I did, and this is actually one of my dad's favourite books, which is one of the reasons why I really want to read it. Just haven't read it before now, so yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. It's quite dense and the pages are very thin, and there's a lot of like words in every page, if you know what I mean, so I think it might be one that takes me a little while, but we'll see how I get on. Hi guys, it is a Wednesday morning at the moment, so I didn't check in yesterday as I was just busy reading in the garden. It was actually a really sunny, lovely day yesterday, so I ended up reading in the garden while watching Rossi, who was running around like a lunatic all day. She really likes the garden, which is great, so but the only thing is I don't always know what she's picking up. She has a tendency to pick up anything plastic that she finds, and then stones and like clumps of dirt and stuff, so I'm always kind of having to keep an eye on her. So my reading this week has been a bit slow because of that, but also the book I'm reading, which was The Clan of the Cave Bear by M.Auel. This is actually quite a slow, like description heavy book as well, so my reading, I think everything combined, is just slower than it probably normally would be. I'm just over 150 pages into this now, and I'm just up to chapter 13, and as I said before, this isn't really, I think I described it as historical fantasy, but I actually think it's more just like Stone Age historical fiction with, like, you know, liberties, I guess. As I said, we were following a character called Ayla, who is orphaned from when she's very young, and she ends up being taken in by this other clan who find her, and they're completely different to her. They look very different, and they're more described as like that real, like, you know, Stone Age man and woman that we would describe, you know, like the heavy brow, the stocky features, the bow legs. Ayla and her people are more, they're taller, they're you know, their bones are straighter, I guess. They are able to like speak more words, because her vocal cords, I guess, are more developed. So all in all, she's slightly more developed, I guess, than like the more Neanderthal clan that have adopted her, yet they also have a really amazing way of life in terms of how they communicate with each other, and their hierarchy, the clan itself, how everything works, their religion. It's really, really interesting kind of following all of that, and how Ayla has to learn all of that, and how even though as much as she tries, she's still always kind of an outsider. And then there is another boy who is going to be the next leader of the clan, and he just hates her for no particular reason. He just really does not like her, and he basically makes her life like a living hell. And we're kind of getting up to the point where they're both getting a bit older, and he's consistently making her life really hard, and she's decided that she wants to break all the rules and learn how to hunt, because in this world there's a real gender divide. You know, the men hunt, the women stay at home and they, you know, like clean the furs, they cook the food, and they have children. And there is a lot of like that kind of gender thing in this book that's very, very obvious. And there are some, you know, problematic elements in that, you know, we're following like, I guess, a time where, you know, women, you know, were there for procreation, and they basically have to allow any man to penetrate them whenever like he wants to. Now normally they stick to their mates, but it's kind of one of these things that if a man wants release, he can just like motion to any woman in the clan and take her as he wills. And there is like, it is implied that sometimes prepubescent boys will penetrate a young girl, you know, even before like they're even able to have children, if you know what I mean. And, you know, that is definitely like a problematic element, and it's not really a nice one to think about. But at the same time, like it's Stone Age. You kind of just have to accept it. Like, these are people who, like, you know, 20 years old is considered like really old. Like, we're following there's one character who's 20, who's having her first child, and she's really, really old to have her first child at 20, and now she's thought of as like an old woman. You know, 9 or 10, when a girl gets her first period, she is a woman, and then she can be mated by the time she's 11 or 12, and then have her first child by then, because, you know, realistically she probably won't survive much into her late 20s. And then the same with the boys become like men at age 10 or 11 and can be mated from then on as well. So yeah, it's a very, very different world, but it's still hard to kind of think about some of the things in terms of the sexual nature that is kind of described in this book. Now, there's not too much of it, but it's just kind of stated, and yeah, it's a little bit hard. It is hard to swallow, and you just kind of, yeah, for me, I'm just kind of like not thinking about it too much. Now, this book, I will say, was written in 1980, so it's like almost 40 years old at this stage. So, you know, I don't think things like that wouldn't necessarily be written in a book that's published today, because, you know, even with historical fiction, that would, you know, raise a few eyebrows. So, but you just kind of have to take it with a pinch of salt as well. I am enjoying this. As I said, it's slow going and it's description based, but I'm kind of enjoying the slowness of it as well. I will say there's not much surprises in this book for me, because I've heard my dad talk about it for years, and I did actually watch the movie with Daryl Hannah, that's based on the first book. So I kind of more or less know what's going to happen in the Clan of the Cave Bear. I do think when I eventually get onto the next book, which is The Valley of Horses, so this is like 2 books in one, but I'm only going to read the first one for this readathon. I wonder if I'll be like a little bit more excited with The Valley of the Horses, because it's a little bit more like unknown for me, where this one I more or less know what I'm getting. So yeah, I am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to trying to read a good bit more today, and trying to get good headway on it so I can finish this soon and move on to the next book for the Magical Readathon. Hi guys, it is just Friday evening, and I wanted to do a final update for this vlog before I end it, as it's already gotten quite long, thanks to all of the puppy clips and everything. So I wanted to update that I've just finished the Clan of the Cave Bear this evening, and I really enjoyed it. As I said, it was a little bit slow, it's very description heavy, but just it's such a different type of story than one I've read about before, and I do really enjoy going back and reading kind of like an older book that, you know, this series, there's like 6 books in this series, I think, and it was a very well loved series, and that there was a good bit of time in between each book, because I remember my dad always like waiting for the next book, and it always took a very long time. So there's a lot of books ahead of me to enjoy that I think are also as description heavy and the same kind of sphere, slow pace as the first one. But I think sometimes those books are good, and definitely for a week that I had where I was kind of just chilling out and, you know, looking after Rossi and like having that time off, I think I kind of enjoyed the slower pace as well, rather than just like flying through a bunch of books in like just a day or so. So I think I'm going to give it a 4 to 5 stars. Like, I do think there are a lot of things in this book as well that, you know, are tougher to read, are slightly problematic, as I said, around kind of the whole, the way sexual activity is treated by the males in the book, and how obviously like the span of life with the clan does mean that girls are being mated and are having children at 8, 9, 10 years old, but it does feel like that age in comparison to like our age is like in their like teens, like 15, 16, 17. That's certainly what it feels like anyway. And you know, like they're like very old for them is like 25, 26, so like that's like their elders. So, you know, that's just how things go in this book. There is a lot of like, there is later on in the book some talk around children born with deformities, and how if a child is born with a physical deformity, they are generally like left out to die. It's not accepted within the clan to have a child with a deformity, and it's only like a special like circumstances that a child with like maybe like any misshapen limb or something like that will actually be accepted into the clan. And there is obviously some problematic language around all of that. Again, this book is much older. I do think there are like things like that would be dealt with in a much more sensitive nature if this book was being published today. But yeah, it's again something that I have to acknowledge, but I also acknowledge the age of the book and when it was written as well, in terms of all of that, and also, you know, the time this is set in. It's one of those things that's kind of hard. I think it comes down to each reader and each person how they feel about those kind of things in books, but I kind of just had to like brush past those and just enjoy the book for what it was. So yeah, 4 to 5 stars. Not the 5-star I was hoping it would be, but I do actually have high hopes for the next book in the series, and I definitely will try and read that maybe by the end of the year, if not early next year. And it's kind of hard to believe there's only a few months left in this year, to be honest. So yeah, I did enjoy it, and I'm going to continue on with reading. I'm going to have a cozy night. I'm in my jammies. I had my hair washed and just going to go have a nice cozy evening. She's having a nap, but she was just running around the garden. So yeah, she's going to be quiet now for another hour or so before she decides to have a little run around again. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this vlog, and please leave me like any comments down below. If you've gotten to this stage and you don't have anything to comment, just leave a little dog emoji, because I feel like that is appropriate. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye.